Testing, testing. Right, what are you doing then, Jacob?
Right, we've done all the benchmarks running with the graphics card and the i3, so we're going to now swap to the i5 processor and do the benchmarks again.
Excellent. Okay, off you go. Now we've got 2 sticks of 4 gigabytes DDR3 running at 1333 megahertz, or is it 1600?
1333.
Now Jacob, what are you doing?
I'm applying thermal paste
And why is that?
because when this machine's running, it's doing a lot of calculations, it's thinking hard very quickly, and that means the processor gets hot. So what you need to do is you need to keep the processor cool. Now what thermal paste does is it helps bridge the gap between the processor and the cooler to make sure that your computer is nice and cool when you're using it.
And what we're using there?
We are using HY810, which has a good thermal efficiency.
Right, we've put the i5 3470 in the motherboard now on the test rig. We've got the graphics card up and running, and we're just about to boot into Windows to see what happens. Here we go. Well, the graphics fan is starting up.
The chip fan's running.
Hard drive's running.
Ooh. Don't have anything on display, Nigel.
Nothing.
What's you plugged in?
No beep.
No beep.
RAM.
Hard drive's running. Yeah, the video's in. CPU's in. I don't know.
Right, let's just see what we've got. Okay, graphics card's running. We've got a hard drive light. Thinking about it, we've got motherboard, CPU,
fans in,
fan running.
RAM's in.
Yeah, fan's running. No beeps. Nothing. What do you reckon is wrong with it, Jacob?
Do you think it doesn't like the new BIOS update?
What, with the chip? With the CPU?
We updated it with an i3 and then put that i5.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have a think. Let's, yeah, we got no screen, have we?
No screen.
So we wouldn't even be able to get to a BIOS screen.
No.
Well, things were going quite well, and then we've hit some problems. The BIOS update went okay, but when we were putting the i5 chip in, we've been having some restart problems. We can't figure out what's wrong with it. We swapped the memory, we swapped the RAM around, we swapped the SATA cables, we swapped the chips back, but it looks like somehow we've killed it. Right, we're now up and running. After a considerable amount of faffing about, we decided to do a BIOS reflash using the DOS method, not the built-in BIOS flash. And we've actually got a working screen now, so we're back on Windows 10, i5 is installed, we've put the Radeon HD 6850 drivers on it, everything is looking great. Here we go, we're going to do some benchmarks now. On to our first benchmark, Unigen Heaven. i3 on the left, i5 on the right. I wasn't expecting to see much difference in frame rates between the two chips because the graphics card hasn't changed. So the minimum FPS on the left is showing 18.9 with a slight uplift to 23.4 for the i5 on the right. Average FPS pretty much the same, as I expected. And now on to Unigen Valley, i3 on the left, i5 on the right. FPS average 41, score of 1731 versus 1741. Minimum FPS 20.9 versus 22.7, and a max around 70. So I'm not expecting to see much difference here because we haven't changed the graphics card, we simply swapped over the CPU. And onto our cinebench. This measures CPU raw performance. The i3 on the left, which is a 2-core, 4 threads, versus an i5 on the right, which is 4 cores. The i3 giving us a reading of 277 against a massive 477 for the i5. That's an incredible 71% improvement over Cinebench, which measures video rendering on the CPU. And on to our final test, which was the re-rendering of Viglen Liberation Part 1. i3 above took 8 minutes 13 seconds to render that video of 11 minutes, and the i5 on the bottom took only 6 minutes to render that. That's a 32% improvement for video rendering. It shows that the 4 cores are really doing their work on the i5.
Use the force.